Charles Dickens. Dickens was born in Hampshire, England in 1812. His father was a clerk at Naval Pay Office, but in 1824 Dickens' father was imprisoned for debt. The entire family was sent to Marshalsea prison except Charles Dickens. At Blackware House, Dickens used to paste labels on the bottles for 6 shillings a week. Dickens attended school from 1824 to 1827 but left again in 1827 because his family could not pay the due rents. Charles Dickens learned shorthand and began his career as a journalist. He worked for London newspaper as a parliamentary reporter for 2 years. Later, he joined the newspaper, the Morning Chronicles, where he wrote a series of sketches about London life. This also included sketches by Bo's collection of short stories. His first literary experiment. Bose was the family name of Dickens, and he took this name as a pseudonym. His first novel was The Posthumous Papers of the Pickwick Club in 1836 to 1837. It is regarded as a picaresque novel. Picaresque novel. It was published in a serial from a monthly on installments. He married Catherine Hogarth, who was a daughter of the editor of Morning Chronicles in 1836, but later both of them were separated. In 1850s, he suffered three devastating losses: the death of his father, the death of the daughter, separation from wife. Dickens' last novel was mystery novel entitled The Mystery of Edwin Drood. This novel remained unfinished because Dickens died in 1870 of a stroke. All the novels of Dickens were published serially in periodicals, especially the two edited by them, Household Woods and All the Year Round 1859. Both of them were weekly periodicals. He also wrote various Christmas stories. Few among them are A Christmas Carol 1843, Scrooge, Jolly Bob Cratchit, Teeny Tim, etc. He became a popular novelist because his novel reflects social conditions which were prevalent in the contemporary society. His novels are about the slums, the poor houses, the debtor prison, and the area filled with stark realities of London lives. Ackroyd is the biographer of Dickens. Novels of Charles Dickens. The Pickwick Papers, 1836. Oliver Twist, 1837. Nicholas Nickleby, 1838. The Old Curiosity Shop, 1840. Barnaby Ruse, 1841. Martin Chuzzlewit, 1843. Dombey and Son, 1846. David Copperfield, 1849. Bleak House, 1852. Hard Times, 1854. Little Dorrit, 1855. A Tale of Two Cities, 1859. Great Expectation, 1840. Our Mutual Friends, 1864. The Mystery of Edwin Drood, 1870. List of short stories. The Chimes, a Goblin Story. A Christmas Carol, 1843. A Christmas Tree. A Message from the Sea. Sketches by Boz. Sketches by Boz, 1836. Sketches by Boz is also called illustrated. Sketches by Boz is also called illustrative of everyday life and everyday people. It is a collection of 56 sketches divided into 4 sections. Our parish scenes, character, tales, Moses was a pseudonym which was taken from a character in Goldsmith, the Vicar of Wakefield. It was pronounced as Bozes and shortened to Boz. The Posthumous Papers of the Pickwick Club. It is the first novel of Dickens, shortly called Pickwick Papers. It is a series of humorous sketches about the members of the Pickwick Club. It presents the episodes and amusing incidents which happen to the group of unforgettable characters, which forms the 19th century English club founded by Samuel Pickwick, who is the main character in this novel. It is basically the journey to remote place from London by the members of Pickwick Club throughout the English country. The main character of this novel are Alfred Jingle, Sam Weller, Nathaniel Winkle, Samuel Pickwick. It is the first picaresque novel of Dickens. Oliver Twist, 1837. Theme: failure of charity, purity in a corruption city and countryside. Complete title: The Adventures of Oliver Twist. The other title is The Paris Boy's Progress. It is a story about an orphan and illegitimate boy, Oliver Twist, who faces a miserable experience in a workhouse under the care of Mr. Man Oliver. She only gives meager food to Oliver. Mr. Bumble, as a frequent visitor to this workhouse, he was a unsympathetic, cruel and stone-heated man who did not care at all for the well-being of orphans. Oliver is ill-treated by his apprentice, Mr. Sobry, along with Noah Claypole, servant of Mr. Sobry. Both of apprentice made fun of Oliver's mother and even abused her. Oliver prepared to go to London. During this journey, he met Jack Dawkins, also called Arthur Dodger, who was a member of a gang of pickpocketers. Dodger took Oliver to London and introduced him to an old Jew Fazin who was the head of the pickpocketing gang. Thus, Oliver is once again trapped with the illegal elements who were doing their business with a lot of innocent children who now used to drink alcohol, smoke cigarette, etc. In these gangs, there were two girls also named Nancy and Betsy. Oliver was now under the supervision of this gang. One day he was caught by the police for nothing because the crime for he was caught was done by Dodger and Betsy. Because he was caught without mistake, so Mr. Brownhow, whose pocket was picked, felt a deep sympathy for Oliver and brought him to this own house, where he was looked after with great affection and kindness. Oliver soon recovered from his illness and told his whole life story of Brown How. One day when Oliver was in way for London, some work, he was seen by Nancy, who tried to wrap him by using some powder to make him unconscious. When Oliver protested her, she said to the public that Oliver is her brother, and thus public allowed her to take Oliver away. Oliver again fell in the hands of criminals because Nancy took him to Fazin once again. Fazin gave Oliver to Bill Sykes, and again Oliver was forced to do robbery. After a lot of attempts, Mr. Brownlow came to know that Oliver is son of illegitimate Edwin Lifford. Edwin Lifford was the intimate friend of Mr. Brownlow. Monks was the legitimate son of Edwin Leaford and thus half-brother of Oliver. Alfred, after a lot of chaos, Monks agreed to surrender and share his properties with Oliver. No, in the end, Nancy was murdered and Bill Sykes, while escaping through a rope, got his neck entangled and struggled a lot. Fazin was trashed. Fagin was traced and sentenced to death. Brownlow adopted Oliver as his own son. Monk, after sharing his properties with Oliver, indulged into criminal activities and died in a fit. Thus, good men were rewarded and bad men were bad met their tragic end. That's all. Thank you.